Hey guys, this will be my first video on this channel, so please bear with me. I'm not used to this. Hopefully leave any comments, suggestions, criticism, whatever you'd like to see me change in the future, because I will be trying to put out more regular content, and it's going to be a Nerf specific channel. So that brings me to the topic of today's video. It is about the Nerf Centurion. And it's not a review or anything like that because this is an older gun. I'm sure most of you have seen it in person, used it, and probably gotten pretty tired of it. And that's because the general consensus around this blaster is for a $50 price tag, and considering its very large bulk, it's inaccurate and tends to chew through darts. And these are mega darts, which are generally pricier than elite darts, so you're chewing through more expensive ammo and not really hitting what you're aiming at. And I really think a lot of that criticism should fall more on the Mega Dart than the actual Nerf Centurion. And why that is because comparing the Mega Dart to the dart I believe is far superior, in this gun at least, is the Busby XL Air Max dart. You can see they're obviously direct competitors, nearly the same size. It's likely most of you have seen this before. But there's a huge design difference in them. The Mega Dart, on one hand, is a whistler dart, so it has holes around it that are meant specifically to catch the air and make a noise, which creates drag, and a lot of times it's asymmetrical drag, so that's why you see with these darts they curve way out of the way. It doesn't matter how accurate you are, because the dart will just swerve off, oftentimes straight into the ground or to the right, to the left, things like that. It's incredibly frustrating. The Busby dart, on the other hand, is a suction cup dart, so it has no air drag holes. It's in a straight line, like a streamline again, and it has nothing to pull on it to a side. So generally, even though your ranges will most likely be slightly less due to the fact that a rounded tip has a lower drag coefficient than a suction cup tip through the air, it will be a much more predictable path, which is more important than being able to hit a 100-foot range versus, say, an 80-foot range with this while actually hitting what you're aiming at. So I have one clip loaded up with fresh XL darts. These I just purchased today. Same with the Mega Darts. Again, purchased today. I wanted both sets of fresh darts, so there's no chewed up, worn out foam to really offset any accuracy of this test. I will be shooting approximately 30 feet down that way, which you can't see yet, just at a screen door and paper target, just to give a point of reference for what I will be aiming at. I will be using the bipod on the Centurion mainly just to keep the level of the gun more or less the same by propping the back end up, because what I'm looking at is not my accuracy, but the precision of the darts and how close the grouping will be. So I will go set that target up and be right back. Okay, so I'm ready to start the test. You can see I have my target set up downrange, just a white paper to give that point of reference. And I will start off with the Nerf Mega Darts. I've dipped the tip of each dart into chalk. That way, even without being suction cup darts, I can accurately see where they hit. It probably won't show up on the video, but that way I can mark it later. So, we'll load up. A little bit low, and a little bit low. You can see these darts are already having feeding issues. It's a general problem with this gun. Real low, so this time I'm going to adjust my aim up a bit. Bit high. Right on. And that was a very poor shot that bounced off the table. Okay, I'm going to go quickly mark all those spots and then set up for the next darts. Okay, so I've now marked with Scotch tape where the 5 that actually hit the screen glass impacted. I was able to see the chalk marks. And now I will be shooting the Busby Air Max darts. I will be aiming for the same spot on the paper. I won't adjust my aim because we just want to see precision. A little to the right, a little to the left, on. Okay, I will go mark those. Okay, so I've now marked where each dart hit, and I've color-coded them. So the Nerf Mega Darts are Scotch tape with blue Sharpie on them, and they are here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's not including the one flyer that hit fairly low, just in front of the door. I'm throwing out one flyer from each group. And then the Busby darts are black duct tape, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 hit the paper, but I can't tell you exactly where due to the fact that white chalk on white paper, it was too difficult to see. So I brought a yardstick here to measure the distance from the extremes of each of these dart groups. So starting with the Mega Darts, is approximately 46 inches from center to center. And they tended to spread out on an extreme in the vertical axes. So they're fairly decent on the horizontal axis in terms of they're probably only about 11 inches wide, but they varied so much on the height aspect, including the one that even landed short of this door. It can be very frustrating trying to hit what you're aiming at. So, assuming we throw out this extreme, that was most likely me changing my point of aim, the distance between the outliers is 20 inches from these two, which are the extremes. And that's a significant difference. I mean, obviously you're looking at less than half of the width of grouping between the Mega Darts and the Busby darts, along with the fact that I actually hit the paper twice, which I was completely unable to do with the Megas. And it's in a much more predictable pattern. It is a little bit wider of a grouping, but on the height aspect, it was perfect. And because it's varying more on the width, or the horizontal axes, that was most likely my fault because the bipod doesn't stabilize side-to-side movement, so I was probably adjusting my point of aim somewhat between shooting it. I did my best to hold the same, but obviously there's a little variance. But looking at the actual vertical axes variance, these are significantly more accurate darts. And just from the visual perspective, they seem to be coming out a bit harder. Lastly, you'll notice when I was cocking the gun with normal Nerf Mega Darts, I actually had 2 feeding issues in just one magazine. And those are, as I said, brand new darts. Where they started to jam and I had to cock it twice to get it to load. That's what tends to slice the foam up or bend the darts. Whereas with the Busbys, I felt if I needed to, I could have a much higher rate of fire if I was really going for it. And there were absolutely no feeding issues. They give you a better sense of confidence. So, in conclusion, I think with Busby Mega Darts, the Centurion may not be a practical blaster for wars or things like that, considering it only has a 6-dart clip stock and the size of the blaster, but it holds its own in terms of shooting, and I think there is a place for it, depending on what you want to do with it. Maybe as a primary, if you really like playing that sniper role, it really won't be much different than any other blaster, but depending on the game scenario, if they give you a bonus for Mega Darts, it's a fairly accurate blaster, and those are still stock ammo, just for different guns, so it fits in with most rule sets. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry for anything that seems unprofessional. It's my first attempt. I need to work more on setting up, but please leave any criticism you'd like me to change, and I'll work on it for my next video. Thank you.